Hello everybody and welcome back to another ship review episode, and today we are looking at the finalized version of the Asashio Tier 8 Premium Japanese Destroyer. And this ship is a giant BB Nerf stick. This is basically what Asashio is. Now normally I spend about 8 to 10 minutes going through the detailed stats and everything, but Asashio, not really much need because there's only one thing really to talk about. But I'll go over the other ones sort of in brief. HP-wise and armor, very standard for Tier 8 Destroyer. Guns, again, Japanese Destroyer guns, kind of slow on the traverse. Okay rate of fire. Damage, if you do hit with the guns, is actually decent. But again, in a Destroyer-on-Destroyer fight against a gunboat, don't really expect to win. Firing range, 10.9 kilometers without AFT, is actually decent. A defense, like a lot of IJN Destroyers, is non-existent. Maximum speed, not exactly all that great, going 35 knots. However, detectability range by sea is fantastic, 5.4 kilometers. You are going to spot a lot of other ships before they are able to spot you. Only exceptions really are going to be other Japanese destroyers. But the Asashio's big thing, the thing that sets her apart from the other Japanese destroyers, is her Deepwater Torpedoes. She has got... Now, I've got torp acceleration, but without it, she's got 20 kilometer, 67 knot Deepwater Torpedoes. These are the torpedoes that just kind of show up, and then you don't really have time to react. Asashio, however, unlike the Pan-Asian destroyers, her torpedoes only hit cruisers and battleships. Hence why I said this is a giant BB Nerfbat. If you have a lot of battleships in your game, anywhere between 4 to 5 battleships, you are going to have a great time. However, if you end up in a battle where there's 2 battleships, you are going to be in for a really poor match, just because you can't really do all that much damage to the other stuff, right? Not really effective gunboat. Torpedoes, again, a selective target only. So if you run into a game that's cruiser and destroyer heavy, you're not all that useful. So she's really, you know, a one-trick pony as well. And she's really only good against battleship targets. But if you do get into games with battleships, you can get a lot of damage out from the ship. So, Asashio, in a way, is maybe Wargaming's plan on reducing battleship numbers. Because if this thing comes out and people are starting to play her regularly in battle, I can see higher tier games having a lot lower battleship numbers, as battleships really don't enjoy playing against a ship like this, because, like I said, the torpedoes have a lot of range, and they tend to get spotted very much at the last minute, and you don't really have much time to react. One other thing that makes the Asashio really, really, really deadly is actually the fact that she has access to this torpedo reload booster that drops your reload down to something like 7 or 8 seconds. So you can fire a grand total of 16 of these long-range deep-water torpedoes that just show up, and yeah, not fun to face. You can also engage 2 different battleships in 2 completely different directions. You know, one here, one over there, because you've got that ability to reload another salvo very, very quickly. All in all, Asashio is just... This ship is just solely designed, I swear to God, it is solely designed for the sole purpose of reducing battleship numbers. That's it. There seemingly is no other point to this destroyer besides that. So, I mean, if your whole purpose in life is to play a ship to troll battleships, and you don't care really about anything else, then when this ship comes out into stores, go ahead and pick her up. Because that is really the only thing she is good at. So, let's take you into the battle footage, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And here we are on the mountain range map, and as you can tell, I am heading into the A cap. I did mention that Asashio does have very, very good concealment. And so what you can do, even though you are not gonna engage in a fight and your torpedoes don't do anything against destroyers, you can at least spot them for your team. And if you're able to spot another destroyer, the enemy destroyer is probably going to start taking some shots from your cruisers and things like that, and so you can at least help in that way. However, the big thing, of course, as the Asashio, that you're really doing at the beginning of the battle is finding out where the enemy battleships are. Because you have to remember that Asashio's main purpose in game is to limit battleship effectiveness. And if you do it right, battleships basically become neutered. In this particular battle, all 5 of the enemy battleships are going to end up around this cap, around where A is. And you will see that they don't end up doing much pushing until later on. And by then, they'd already taken so much damage that it was really more desperation than anything else. First things first, take a look at that Tirpitz. Oh boy, that Tirpitz is in the wrong place. And he doesn't know anything's coming his way. And he's not going to know until very, very, very last moment. That's what happens with these Deepwater Torpedoes. They have a tendency of just popping up on you. And there you go. Take a look at that Tirpitz, and he is down quite a bit of HP already. And this is right at the start of the game. So that is rough. If you're in a battleship, that's rough. You know, you just start the game, you're just starting your push, and boom, your HP's gone. Look at the Iowa in the back there. Immediately turning away. Right? Cruiser, it doesn't really affect them, but the battleships, they cannot push effectively. And that's really what Asashio is doing. Do I think this is good for the game? No, not at all. Battleships, too much times in the game, are already far in the back. They're already trying to sort of stay at range more. And if this ship becomes the regular appearing sort of destroyer, it's gonna make it worse. Like, I just don't see... I don't really see battleships wanting to push into that, because, I mean, if I'm a battleship player, I don't want to push into that. It's just not fun. And especially with Asashio being able to have that torpedo reload booster as well, you're constantly having to worry, is there a second salvo coming? You know, is there a second one that this Asashio is just holding back for a little bit more before unleashing on my position? And it's rough to play against. Enemy Bismarck tries to come in, and yikes. Yikes. You can see his position is no good already. Not good at all. And a whole wave of torpedoes. And he's not going to really know about these until they're right in front of his face. And by then, you, as a battleship, you don't have time to react. There's one. There's a couple more. 2, 3, 4. That's it. That Bismarck is pretty much out of the fight for the next little while, because he's... Yep. So, not even 5 minutes into the game, I'm 81,000 damage up, and Tirpitz is basically completely out of this game. Bismarck is out of this game. So, enemy team is down basically 2 whole battleships. So, if you are if you are out there looking for a destroyer to play that is basically going to be a pain in the neck to battleships, Asashio's gonna be your thing. I mean, if you want to basically be a ship that is solely out there to ruin battleship players' days, this one is gonna be it. Now, some people might say, well, if there's a significant reduction in battleship populations, like really, really significant, then, you know, maybe you're going to get to a point where Asashio is just going to become a port decoration, because there's not enough BB population for it to be able to make an influence in the game, right? Because, like I said, it's not very good against other destroyers, and if you're just up against a lot of cruisers, forget it. There's really not much you can do against them. But if you division up with 2 other battleships, then you're pretty much going to have battleships on the other team. So, oh boy, this is those kind of ships that I wish were never implemented. I just kind of wish that these are the ships that just don't make an appearance in the game. Now, unfortunately, I don't make decisions for Wargaming. They decide what they want, so it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and... Oh, by the way, that Conqueror. Watch this Conqueror. Watch those torpedoes. Watch that Conqueror. Conqueror is still at good HP right now. Again, no warning, right? These things are just going to appear, like, kind of right in your face. And you can tell. Conqueror, by the time he notices it, can't do anything. And HP is pretty much gone. And now I'm sitting on 140,000 damage. And as for the Conqueror, well, take a look. One more hit, and dead. That's Asashio for you, in a nutshell. Basically, this thing is just the anti-battleship weapon. Yep, that's it. Sole purpose in life. I mean, I've had battles where my battleships got melted really early on, and the enemy team ended up having a lot of remaining cruisers. And when you run into that kind of situation where it's a lot of cruisers and a few destroyers, you just kind of say, okay, I'll just stop here, let you guys come and hit me, because nothing you can do against that kind of a force. But as long as there's battleships, as long as there's a good number of battleships, you can get damage, right? And this I don't even think was the highest damage battle. It's just that this one was the one where I was able to accumulate damage rapidly in a very short amount of time against an enemy team that was a little bit more BB heavy. In terms of typical damage, right, like I said, if you run into a battle with very few battleships, then yes, it's going to be a bit more painful in terms of trying to get damage. But if you run into a typical game right now on the NA server where you have 4 or 5 battleships, as long as you get them in the right spots, you should be getting 80, 100k damage a game pretty easily. Battleships just don't have the time to be able to react. The minute they see your torpedoes, they have about a matter of a few seconds to actually react to them. And for those of you who play battleships, you know that a few seconds isn't enough time to even get your rudder turning. Never mind actively, doing something about the torpedoes you're spotting. It's just not happening. So with Asashio, I would say if the average battle with the sort of a standard number of battleships that you're typically used to seeing, let's say 4, you should be able to get that kind of damage pretty consistently. Just because the ship doesn't really take all that much to play, right? This is not like some of the other IGN destroyers, for example, like let's say Yugumo, if you play with the torpedo reload booster, whatever, that actually takes some skill to actually play well, just because you're sacrificing something to get that torpedo reload booster, right? And you've actually got to really think about your position and everything. Asashio, no such thing. You can stand off range at a range where nobody's ever going to see you, and just throw torpedo after torpedo after torpedo, and you'll get hits. Just kind of how it works. I mean, I played with the 20-kilometer set, and it was just like, you mean I could be over here and fire torpedoes and hit stuff over there? Like, that's kind of the mentality you have. And truth be told, I'm not a fan of Asashio's design at all. I mean, I never got to test the ship because I wasn't part of the CC program during when they were doing the initial testing. But now that she's final and I'm back in the program, I'm able to actually play her and try her out before she comes out and review her, and just, oh my god, this ship. This ship, I just, yeah, nope. Oh, by the way, that Bismarck is only just starting to come back into the fight, and it's 10 minutes past, just starting to come back into the fight. Oh, and did I mention I threw torpedoes at him too? Oh, this ship. I don't even have words to describe you. I mean, maybe I'll have more words to describe her after I play the Graf Zeppelin. Because Graf Zeppelin has kind of taken the same approach almost. A ship that is, relatively speaking, just easy mode. And bye, Bismarck. I know I hit you earlier, but yeah. Anyways, bye. And sitting on 171,000 damage. And that's pretty much going to be my contribution to this battle. I do get into a tiny little gunfight with that rune over there. I think my final damage total was just a little bit higher than that. But then, most of my work in terms of getting torpedo hits on their battleships is pretty much done. The eye was the last remaining one. Yeah. That's it. But, for those of you out there who are looking at the ship and going, God, this looks like cancer. Yeah, probably does. For those of you who are cackling away, rubbing your hands together, going, I will go ruin battleship lives. Well, then go ahead. When the ship comes, spend some money, buy her, and go out and troll some battleships. Do expect to get some hatred for it, though, because this ship is just... Oy. On a side note, before this battle runs out, because I am going to let this battle play out all the way to the end, just on a side note, the Buffalo has been a bit of a surprise, I would say. There's very rare times where the first time I really touch a ship, I'm like, wow, it's surprisingly decently balanced and doesn't really require all that much tweaks. Buffalo is in that category. You know, I've played a couple of battles. Okay, more than a couple. I've played a bunch of battles in her, and surprising. Like, I like the way she is right now. She's not brokenly overpowered, but she's not weak either. She's just in a good spot. So, you know, I would say yay. At least that ship is looking good for now. So, you know, we'll have to see how the rest of the USN cruiser line split goes, but at least you can say I'm excited for one of those ships, right? The Buffalo, I am kind of excited for. Anyhow, now that you've seen Asashio play, you've seen the way she behaves, and now you know that it is final, what do you think about the ship? Are you going to get the ship? Are you going to buy her when she comes out? How would you feel if you're a battleship player and you're dealing with this thing? Are you going to stop playing battleships? Are you going to play some other classes? Are you going to maybe play cruisers to go hunt these buggers down? Let me know what your plan is when Asashio hits stores. Coming soon? Exact date, I do not know, but hey, it's coming soon. And there we go, gun down the rune for 175,000 damage, and battle is won. Unfortunately, I only took one screenshot. Took one, and the game decided to crash. Stuff happens. Anyways, so there we go, that's the final performance. 12 torpedo hits, 175k damage, bunch of floodings, 500,000 credits, 4,586 experience. So pretty darn good overall. Aside from all that, folks, hope you enjoyed this ship review episode. Let me know, like I said, let me know in the comment section what you think about her. And aside from all that, have a good one, take care of yourselves, and I will talk to all of you again next time.